up? This is the BMW M4 competition convertible, and I've already driven the M3 and the M4 variants, so I'm trying to find out if this one is equally as good.
Ah yes, the BMW M4 Generation G82. The one we'll look back on one day and either say, what the hell was BMW thinking with the kidney grills? Or, man, its design was really ahead of its time. No matter what you think of the current generation M3 and M4 design, there is no denying that they're both beautifully balanced cars that drive much better than they look, at least in my opinion.
Now enter in the convertible variant of the M4, the G83, and this one was provided by Porsche of downtown LA and is finished in Isle of Man green, being contrasted by a cinnamon/oranges interior color called Kyalami. Now if you follow this channel, you know that I'm a humongous sucker for a nicely executed green color exterior, and this one is absolutely gorgeous, especially considering the contrasting interior lighter color. Now, putting aside my opinion for a second, I want to hear yours because I've been seeing more and more of these around. Now, considering how disliked, let's say, they were when they first came out, have the looks of the M4 kind of grown on you?
Now I quickly want to glaze over something that kind of has me scratching my head, and it's these seats. These are the $4,500 carbon buckets, and even though they look unbelievably cool, why are they in this car? Why is it even an option in the M4 convertible? I say this because they're not as comfortable as the regular seat, and they're difficult to get in and out of. So when you take into consideration that this is the convertible variant and more of a GT/cruiser, it almost doesn't make sense.
Now for the convertible top. So BMW ditched the hard top for the cloth top in this generation, and it operates in 18 seconds, which is kind of slow by industry standards, but the nice thing is you have the ability to lower and close the top, moving up to 31 miles an hour. Now BMW will tell you that they saved 40% of the convertible top's weight while making the switch to cloth, but there's absolutely no denying that the M4 convertible is a heavy car, tipping the scales at 4,300 pounds, which is almost 500 pounds heavier than the Coupe variant. So the question becomes, does all that extra weight kind of ruin the nice driving dynamics of the M4 Coupe? Let's go ahead and find out. All right, so let's see what this thing feels like. Start stop here in red. Sounds really good. All right, especially with the top down, and it is an absolutely perfect day to film a convertible. It's slightly overcast but warm. So let's see what this M4 is all about. All right, so setting off, one of the things I wanted to talk about, I went on a little mini rant there about the seats. And one thing that you will lose going with these carbon buckets, besides comfort, is the ability to blow hot air onto your neck, which the regular M4 seat has, and that's always nice if you want to drive your convertible on a colder day. So let's go ahead and put it in the go fast modes: engine Sport Plus, chassis Sport Plus, steering Sport, and brake in comfort. Because the brake-by-wire system in Sport, I don't really prefer it. So I like leaving it in comfort. So let's go ahead and downshift first. And M4 convertible. Let's see what it's about. Okay. Woo! Wow, really fast, and then the convertible experience is just on a different level. The brakes are good as well. They stop on a dime. These are the 6-piston brakes from BMW. The exhaust note comes in really nicely. The exhaust in these new M4s is more bassy, and it gives a really nice feedback On the upshifts, the pops, and then even on the downshifts, it's got a lot of bass and a lot of grunt and I guess a lot of meat to it, as opposed to before with the higher revving, naturally aspirated, more raspy exhausts. But of course, this is the inline 6-cylinder twin turbo, making 503 horsepower and I believe 479 pounds-feet of torque. So really, really high numbers. Now it's amazing how far the M3 has come, being an E46 owner with 333 horsepower. Now less than 20 years from when that came out, you've got a 500 horsepower M4. So it is unbelievably fast and crazy how far these M3s and these M4s have come. As far as this power delivery, it's very linear, and unlike a twin turbo motor, something more along the lines of what BMW owners are expecting with a linear power delivery. And it wasn't that way with the prior generation of the M4. That had a really big gut punch, but this car is just fast from the get-go. All that torque from down low because of the twin turbo motor, it's just a very, very fast car. Now let's switch over to the overall feel and the dynamics. So when I drove the M4 Coupe, it was very, very twitchy. The handling is extremely sensitive as far as its feedback when you give it and the directions that it moves in. And it's no different here in the convertible. BMW has done a great job of masking the extra 500 pounds in the M4 convertible. Now it's really high to hide 500 pounds, so some of that weight when you're transferring it from side to side is going to come through. But again, BMW has done a good job with that extra torsional rigidity that they've given this car to make it as flat as possible. Now let's switch over and talk about some of the daily driving characteristics for this car, because M cars in general, or the BMW brand or the M brand, builds their cars with a great dual nature or a balanced character. And what I mean by that is they're great to drive fast, and they also have the capability to be driven on a daily basis. And I think that's tailored for the BMW M buyer. The M3s, the M4s, people buy these cars and drive them on a daily basis. So this car does that very, very nicely. If you put it in efficient mode, everything else in comfort, the suspension soaks up all the bumps. With the automatic, it's just effortless to drive. When you put the top up, you don't get any wind noise. It's very quiet in here, and even with the top down, there's a wind deflector that I haven't installed, but it's pretty quiet in here with the windows up. Oh, it's so fast. Oh, it is so fast. Let's do it again. Sport plus sport. Let's turn the exhaust on. Oh man, this convertible is pretty serious. And let's set it off with one more acceleration. Oh wow. Oh wow. Yes. Really fun convertible to drive, this M4. So that's the BMW M4 competition convertible. BMW have really knocked it out of the park with the M3 and the M4 in all variants. So if you can get over the front end looks, these are absolutely wonderful cars. Now, how about the coupe versus convertible discussion? Is it as good? And I think the answer is yes, and let me explain. So you can't really look over the 500-pound difference in the convertible, so the driving dynamics or the performance driving dynamics just aren't going to be as good as the coupe. But how about in a street driving setting where the most performant thing you'll do is accelerate in a straight line? Let's call it 75, 80, 85% of the way there. Because remember, the coupe and the convertible are only separated by 0.2 of a second in 0 to 60 time, 3.4 to 3.6. But the convertible offers the drop-top wind in your hair experience. And for some, 80% with the wind in your hair is well worth it. So that's all I've got. If you've got any questions, please make sure you leave me a comment down below or send me a message on Instagram @DriveSteady. Otherwise, thank you for watching this video. Until next time, drive steady.